G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today we've got two absolutely big names for you on Lipany. Of course, we'll take a look at the lay of the land in a little bit, but before we do, let's introduce our players for today in the west of the map. In the colour purple, playing as the Rus, representing Team Liquid, it's Demu. And on the east side of the map, in the colour green, playing as Joan of Arc, it's Corvinus 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lipany. A pleasure to have your company here today on Dry Arabia's cousin, though the more defensive version of it. If we take a look at the lay of the land, you'll see that there are a couple of cliffs in the center of the map. However, nothing too crazy. I mean, you might be able to park a mangonel or two up here and definitely get some good shots off on the enemy. But, I mean, really there's not a whole lot of natural walling. Oh, excuse me. Not a whole lot of natural walling that you're going to be able to get. Now, you will notice with my voice, it's rather early in the morning here for me. So, look, if you like the morning voice, leave a like on the video. If you don't like the morning voice, leave a comment down below. And then that way we keep everybody happy, don't we? All right, well, let's get on to it and talk a little bit about this matchup, about what we expect to see for this matchup. So, first and foremost, we're going to take a look at, do a little bit of an assessment on the deer. Demu's deer slightly less favorable than the deer of Corvinus 1. He's got this one nice little spot to the back of the base. And down to the south, so he could look to try and wall this out, as we talked about, but I don't think that's going to be the play here from him. I would suspect that we're probably going to see a 2TC out of Corvinus 1 today, just because he's playing Joan of Arc. It's a cav matchup, so maybe one or two knights and then straight into a second TC. And by the same token, the second TC is a little bit like going for professional scouts. If your enemy sees it, often they're going to want to try and keep up with you as well. So we'll have to wait and see whether that's going to be the play here, but professional scouts, it could be a consideration for both of them, but I think the reality is with the knights and the fact that you've got knights out on the field, that it definitely discourages the enemy from going professional scouts, because you're able to punish those scouts if they ever do get close. And you typically want to avoid going spears in a cav matchup like this. It's going to put you on the defensive quite early, but we do now see Corvinus 1 coming down with the School of Cavalry early on in this game. Nice 2 minutes 25 timing, and it's going to be a mining camp for him here. He's not even going into a single. He's literally just rushing the second TC. All right, mad respect right there. Let's check in with Demu and see how he's doing as he's beginning to move out towards the gold vein. And actually, no, he's moving past the gold vein. Have a look at this. No, never mind. It's going to be the Kremlin that gets thrown down, so I'm not going to opt for a golden gate here today. Let's see if he transitions his vills over to stone as well. We can see the vills moving on to wood at the moment. He's got the scout around the back of the base. My expectation is that you would probably see those vills on gold, or rather those vills on stone, and you would probably shift off on the resources that you were going for, unless he's already just planning to go for a second TC himself. Let's have a look and see. Where is that stone? Stone's actually towards the front of the base, so he might not see it for quite some time here. All right, well, so far, so good for him. It's a double scout opening. With regard to the sheep, how many has he picked up? Let's have a look and see. It looks like he's got 14. Very, very nice. Scout comes in. And let's see if we get a bit of a reaction. You can see he's looking to come around. He wants to spot where are those vills out under the TC on the wood. And there he sees it. Clicks the stone. And he'll see, okay, 200 stone taken off. Let's have a look and see whether we've got an instant reaction. It's not even an instant reaction. He was already planning to come out over here. But you can see 7 vills now being brought out over here. So, look, I feel like it's probably one of those things where he was already planning to go for it because he just kind of knew what was up in the matchup. But at the same time, that's obviously just confirmed everything for him. Now, interestingly, we've got Demu who's got enough, or at least should have enough with his hunting cabins, there we go, to get through that first cav unit. But on the side of Corvinus 1, he hasn't even left a single villager on gold. Now, we do see him come back. He's got 11 sheep. So, what was it? 11 sheep versus 14 sheep. I think it worked out to be 15 sheep now for the side of Demu. So, pretty even, realistically. Only, what, 800 food difference between the two. So, not a huge difference. And definitely an acceptable amount. You know, if my enemy found 15 and I found 11 sheep every single game, I'd still be happy with 11 sheep. It was always those games where it was like your enemy found 26 sheep and you found 3. They were the ones that got to you. Anyway, Vill's now beginning to move out. We can see that Corvinus has got enough in the bank to throw down this TC. At least he's got enough stone in the bank. Does he just look to put it straight down on top of the deer hunt? I think that's what we might have here. You can see him moving into the back of the base. A lot of units here. Demu He's aged up as well, but we don't see any cav in queue just yet. Is he even going to opt for a stable, or does he just go straight into that town center? We'll have to wait and see. He's got a lot of resources in the bank now. 362. A little bit behind on that wood count, but there it comes now for Corvinus 1. The second town center at 5 minutes and 10 seconds. A very good timing here for him. And we got Joan of Arc just working her magic, taking down the deer nice and close to this TC. And I think this is one of the things, right, when you go for the second TC, is that you're less incentivized to go for your professional scouts. It doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to do that. The value that you're getting from that is not significant, as I thank my wife very much. She's just brought me a coffee. Thank you very much, honey. I don't actually call her honey, but I'm calling her honey for you guys just to just to maintain the privacy barrier about what I do actually call her. What's the most embarrassing thing that you could call your partner out in public? Is it? I'm trying to think of something like honeyboo. So, actually, you know what? I've got a friend. No, I shouldn't. I'm not gonna out him. I'm not gonna out him. You know what? I don't think he watches enough of my content to see every single video. But anyway, I've got a friend, and his wife calls him Dumpling, and oh, it's the sweetest thing. But yeah, it's just one of those things. And the funny thing is, it's like when you've got these silly little pet names, and your friend overhears it, they'll pick it up. And they'll laugh at it, and they'll kind of say it ironically to begin with, but I'm not kidding you. I've got him saved in my phone as Dumpling now. I call him Dumpling, and I don't even bat an eyelid, man. I sit around and have beers with this guy, and we're just, I'd call him Dumpling. I'm like, oi, Dumps. Oh, gosh. Anyway, that's it. So, yeah, we'll go with the very neutral Honey today. Thank you, Honey, for bringing in my coffee. Gosh. Anyway, well, let's move on. Let's move forward as the two TCs are down. Do we see a little bit of a feudal action opening? Hold on. What are these scouts? These scouts have got professional upgrades. No, they don't. No, I don't think they do. He's just trying to block this push that was coming in from Corvinus. Definitely the right call for it. So Corvinus 1 going for oh, look at that. Gets the arrow shot off as well. But basically just attempting to prevent these deer from being pushed in. And I'll be honest, this one didn't even click in my head until we see it right now, what he was actually doing. He's slow pushing the deer into this town center. The very poor man's professional scouts. Who needs professional scouts? Goodbye, professional scouts. We've now got Joan of Arc. She is the professional scout. Look at me. I am the professional scout now. And we do see towards the south side of the map, it is going to be some little walls coming up here for Demu, trying to protect his own deer. So very aware that not only may there be professional scouts, seeing as we may need them, or perhaps Joan of Arc comes through, but there may be a potential raid, and especially with Joan of Arc in play, it's always something that you do need to remain cognizant of. But we're right on board now with demos. It looks like we may just have a very quick Castle Age coming out for these players today. You can see he's got decent resource numbers in the bank here. Have we picked up that survival techniques upgrade just yet? Yes, we have. We've got survival techniques. Check over on the side of his opponent. Doesn't look like Corvinus has actually got a mill yet. So with no mill, you can definitely believe that there is no survival techniques. But I suspect there's probably going to be a guild hall on the way through shortly. And I think the reason why people have been kind of prioritizing guild hall more so than the Royal Institute in recent times is just because going for the Royal Institute makes a lot of sense if you've got this big army already and you want to kind of transition it into a nice Castle Age army, right? Like you pick up your veterancy, you pick up your +2 upgrades, and you pick up your Royal Biology. But when you're playing in a situation like this, you open the 2 TCs, you just pretty much go straight to Castle Age. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Imp coming up very quickly for these guys, and you don't even need the Royal Institute in that case. Obviously, you get cheaper techs, but it's much nicer to just kind of save the guild hall. I don't know what kind of strategy Corvinus is going to go for here, but one of the common things that we do see players do is keep it on food, and then once it's been on food for a while, normally about 2,000 food, they'll switch it over to gold. So we'll have a look. The other option is that he just switches it over to gold right now. But normally you use that 2,000 food to get yourself up into the Imperial Age. That way you only need to gather 1,200 gold, and the 2,000 food just comes from the guild hall, which is really nice. I think Don Artie was sort of the pioneer of that strategy. Speaking of Don Artie, where you been, mate? It's been a while since I've got a DM from my Don. I might have to send him a message. Actually, I'll tell you right now, I have spoken to him semi-recently. He did mention that he was doing quite well. He'd been over to play a high-stakes poker tournament, and he'd done well in that. And that's what you expect from a man named the Don, who is a poker pro. Anyway, a new age begins here for Demu, as it is going to be the high trade house, a beautiful high trade house, if I might say. This is absolutely what you want. I don't even know how you make this better. I think realistically, like, maybe this spot here could have been slightly better, but even then, only marginally. But what an absolutely beautiful spot. He's got the deer, or rather the scout now moving in, going to be looking to herd in these deer. Who needs professional scouts, guys? We got these amateurs, and that's all we need. That's all we need. All right, well, Bill count going to be climbing for both of these players steadily. Second stable is through. If you're still with us 10 minutes into this game, thank you, because it's been a bit of a slow opening. But look, it's one of the things that happens in some of these matchups that you get where players just kind of recognize, like recognize real. It's one of those things where, you know, Corvinus 1 looked at Demu looked at Corvinus 1, and they were like, look, we could make 9s. Or we could just go Castle Age and make 2 TCs each. And then we can have real fun. Monastery now going to come down for Demu. Corvinus 1 over on his side. Do we have a monastery coming down for him just yet? Doesn't look like it. A religious investment at this stage. Relic in the back of the base. We do see the mill has been built. Wheelbarrow on the way. Could be looking for survival techniques. Honestly, I'd be going survival techniques before I went for a mill. But, I mean, to be fair, maybe survival techniques ain't even worth it at this stage just because you've got so little deer left. We've got 5 carcasses maxing out here. Joan of Arc going to move out. Horsemen on the way as well, moving towards that north side. Sacred Sign has been taken. Horse archers coming out here for Demu. It's up to 5 horse archers. And I think the big question is, what direction does this game take with regard to military? Because we've seen a number of different strategies, but throughout the week, you would have to say, or at least throughout 2025, it has been the year of siege. We have seen some banger games this year. And I think the big question in my mind is, will this game switch that up? Will we see a different unit comp? Will we see these players look to try and break up the meta away from that siege? Or will they just leverage it even further? Because both of them have got access to pretty cool siege. Of course, the Rus have access to a very special landmark, one of the best siege landmarks in the game, the High Armory, which decreases the cost of siege engines in the siege workshops that are nearby. And by the same token, on the side of the French, or Joan of Arc in this case, we have the College of Artillery, which allows you to produce cannons that have got extra damage. And that can start to add up over the course of a game, right? If you think about it from the perspective of a longer game, it could be massive. Having that extra 30% damage could be the difference between getting the one-shots in and not getting the one-shots in. But have a look at, speaking of one-shots, look at the horsemen, dude. They do so much damage, it's ridiculous. They're like 4-shotting. Yeah, they are actually 4-shotting these units. And you can see just how little response Demu's got. He's going to try, manages to actually take that last horseman out, but sacred sites are slowly being capped around the map. Joan of Arc, we can't see her experience, despite her being released more than a year ago, but I'm sure she's well and truly on her way to level 3 right now, maybe about 60%. I'll give you a nice round number. 62.73%. That's where she currently stands. Nice and round. I don't know in what world that is round. Maybe, nah. I'm trying to find a way through, but it's not happening. Triple range, triple archery range. Do we see? I think it's Arbitria. It's got to be Arbitria, right? I mean, you could just go mass archer here. Mass archer kind of makes sense. You're up against horse archer. You don't want to go Arbitria. Why are you making Arbitria? Well, I guess you got more ranged armor. I guess that's one of the things that you could do. But typically we see the horse archers because, or the archers against the horse archers, normally because it's about cost, right? The archers cost a little bit less, and I think when it comes to range, we've got slightly more range. I think that's how you justify it. But we'll have a look and see what the plan is for Corvinus with 4 archery ranges down. Of course, the Pavise shield is going to be the only time you get that extra armor with the Arbitria, so it's something that you have to be careful about engaging on, because basically when you press the button, you cannot move once you've got that shield deployed. Upgrades on the way through for Demu. Take a look at these upgrades. Whole bunch of eco ups have just arrived. He's got lumber preservation on the way as well. We see a lot of production buildings on the backside. I tell you what, that coffee is smelling really good. Hold on. Give me a second here, folks. I'm going to have to grab myself some of it. Oh man, that's good. So, just to fill you guys in, I'll let you. You know what? I'm not even gonna let you guess. I'll just tell you. I opened up with a Red Bull to start off today's game, and my wife just brought in a coffee because I just woken up. She wasn't home at the time. I think she went to go pick up a package, and she came home and she just made me a coffee straight away. It's like it was just a natural reaction for her. So, shout out to the wife. Thank you very much. But now we are double caffeined up. We've got both avenues of caffeine, so whatever floats your boat, whether that is a boat floated in coffee or a boat floated in Red Bull. We also technically have the triple. We got the water on the backside, but look, we'll see whether or not we need that today. But look at the number of units that are starting to build up here for Demu. Demu going kind of crazy with how many units we are out here with. The spears on the backside he needs to be careful of. Can't really fight into them. Corvinus 1 going to fall back away from it. Archer numbers starting to build here, as we did suspect correctly. It was going to be archers. So Joan will go down on the backside. Archer numbers still rallying through. We can see that he's probably going to have to fall back away from this. And to be honest, he's got no reason to fight this, right? You don't want to fight this. This is a losing battle. You just want to go back, let your army slowly build up. And remember, the faster your army builds up, the slower your enemy's army will build up, because you've got your reinforcements closer, they've got theirs further away, so they need to run further to get to your base. So that's the whole idea. We want to try and stay defensive here. All right, well, Archer numbers continuing to build. +2 ranged armor is through. He's going to be able to pick off a lot of these spears at the front. Keep in mind, he even trades quite well into the into the horse archers. But the main focus here is just going to be about taking down the spears, and the numbers begin to fall, and the Joan of Arc level 3 is now through. With that, we can see him teeing off in the back line, able to one-shot out those horse archers, if I remember correctly. I think he does 100 damage on each of those, doesn't he? Or is it 65? No, it's 100 damage. So 100 damage on each of those. He's just able to one-shot the back line. And decent little hold here from Corvinus 1. You can see how he's pushing back Demu away from this position. Demu just kind of holding the choke point and allowing his army to be slowly eaten away at, but I think he realizes, falls back, does the right thing. And keep an eye on the amount of vills that we've got here on food. 39 vills on food, 28 vills on food. It is a huge amount of vills on food. Farm transition has well and truly started in this game as well. So we've got ourselves quite a bit of economy going for these players. 83 versus 82. No vills lost just yet. We'll switch it over to income per minute, 16 minutes and 32 seconds into this game. Get a bit of an idea on where these two currently stand. 1100. 24, 2500, we'll call it 3100. 3100 for Corvinus 1. And we see on the side of Demu that he's already cracking almost 4,000. So about 3,600, 3,700, somewhere in that region. So quite a bit ahead of his opponent. That's going to be the relics that are in play that make the big difference. Of course, you've also got landmarks like the High Trade House, which is contributing quite a bit, as well as your hunting cabins, which do contribute significantly once you've got decent numbers of them. Now, just give me a sec. I'm going to take a quick swig of this coffee here. Oh, it's good. I gave her some feedback recently, my wife. I said, I love it when the coffee is so hot that I can't scull it, because otherwise I can't control myself. I guzzle it down. When it's hot, you're kind of forced back. It's like one of those retention techniques they use, where they they want you to drink the coffee as long as you can. And let me put it this way, I'm taking my time with it, that is for sure. All right. Meanwhile, in the back of the base, 2,300 food saved up. Wouldn't be surprised if he clicks this button. Doesn't have a whole lot of gold in the bank, though. He literally just clicked it right then. Probably going to see him switch over to gold right there. There's the gold switch. So pretty standard stuff coming through from Corvinus 1. And he could look for an Imperial Age here. You can throw down the Red Palace. I don't know if you'd be really wanting to do it, though. It feels a bit dangerous going for it here, as Jones Riders do pop out. He's adding in a few more. Keep in mind, they do get bonus damage against crossbowmen, and we do see crossbowmen that have come out here on the back. Looks like he might try a bit of a dive down the inside here. Corvinus 1. Archers teeing off. Not a whole lot of spears here. The archers for him and Arbitratria can probably just move past and think about something else. Meanwhile, the horsemen on the front side are going to be thinned in their numbers. It's range unit v range unit. Mangonel going to become a little bit more problematic now as the range units really start taking a larger percentage of this army. More melee units rally through. A couple men-at-arms for Liquid Demu. And speaking of Mangonels, we now start to see the high armory placed down in the back of the base, perfectly positioned. Can I just compliment Demu on that? It's exactly where it needs to be. It's such an important landmark. If you lose that landmark, it is going to be very tough for you to keep your head above water, especially in the late game, as all three sacred sites are now taken by Demu. Keep in mind, this is more than likely just going to be a sacred site. He doesn't really want to go for the victory here. This is more about, I'm just taking the sacred sites to get myself a little bit of extra gold. That's what this is all about. But landmark now about to be complete for Demu. Corvinus 1, no food in the bank. He spent it all on units. And there it is, the High Trade House. 2 siege workshops thrown down immediately. Now, there's some key upgrades that we'll be looking out for. Number 1, it's going to be adjustable crossbars, a very important upgrade for pretty much every civilization that's got access to it. Tithe barns, another very important upgrade that Demu is now picking up. I'm gonna take a seat back here because we're starting to get into it. We're 19 minutes into this game right now, and it is really starting to pick up with the Imperial Ages coming through for Demu. I suspect we'll have one on the way for Corvinus 1, though he could just look to try and push the agenda right now. Numbers are decent, 65 versus 52. A lot of ranged units. Militia get called. Look at the amount of militia that are here. Keep in mind, you don't get any points for the militia. They are representative of 0. And Demu utilizes the militia well in this situation, but he's going to need to rely on Streltsy. He's going to need to rely on those mangoes if he can bring them through. How many tickets has he got? He used every single ticket there to pull those militia out of the Kremlin. So he's got no more lifelines left. The rest of it has got to be his own units. Joan of Arc almost getting caught out by those militia on the front line. And now Corvinus 1. He doesn't really have a way to finish off Demu at this stage, so I feel like Demu's still going to hold. Even though he's looking good, I still feel like Demu shouldn't have too many issues holding. Streltsy in the back as well. Mango's going to be focused down. Keep in mind, these mangoes are cheaper than the average mangonel. Big shot coming off. I don't know how that one went down, but he's still got the single one left. And Joan of Arc goes down. No sniper roonies happening today, and somehow, someway, Corvinus 1 has been repelled from the base, defeated. Corvinus 1 will right on board with him, though, as I would suspect he looks to go Imperial here. Now, one of the best things he could do in this situation is look for a Red Palace. The problem is, going for the Red Palace is always difficult when you're up against a Rus player, just because of the threat of bombards coming out from these siege workshops. And we do start to see those upgrades coming through. Mangonel has been produced nice and cheap, so it's 40 gold cheaper, 80 wood cheaper. That definitely adds up over the course of a game. So adjustable crossbars is going to be a big one that we're looking out for. Greased axles are already on the way through. And then, of course, fine-tuned guns. Quite nice. Don't know if it's really necessary. And then we've also got siege crew training, which is very, very nice here for the Rus. So not only do you have those cheaper mangonels, but you've also got faster tearing down and putting back up. So for Red Palace position, this one really speaks to me. I mean, this just makes a whole lot of sense, right? Red Palace, you could probably afford to put it down right here. The trouble is, okay, you put it here, it protects the gold, you keep all your vills here so you can repair, and then you can also kind of hold this sacred site. You could go for something a little bit more defensive, like you could put it in main, and then this kind of stops these annoying little raids that are inevitably and eventually going to come through. But this is kind of one of those things that it's difficult. It's not easy to defend this position, right? That's another thing. I mean, you could try and put it a little bit more defensively. No, he's just okay. So yeah, he's just gonna kind of put it here. I think this is a nice little middle ground, right? I was thinking you could put it defensive. You could go a little bit more aggressive, but yeah, this makes the most sense here. And so by doing this, oh. This is dangerous. We're playing dangerous games right now. 4 mangoes coming up. Dude, that's so many mangoes. It just, in such a short amount of time, we already see so many mangonels. Another keep is going to be put down. He actually spots out the Red Palace in the middle. How many vills are building it? He's got 24 on it. That's a lot of vills, but at the same time, the mangoes are going to get good value here. Plenty more where that came from. Mango's moving up. He wants to get the Red Palace online. I think he's probably going to. Vills, they've got their extra health. Joan of Arc is present as well, so they are building faster. Red Palace online, and that's it. He just right-clicks all these units at the back, takes them out immediately, and says, "Good night, sweet prince." And immediately, the power of the Red Palace is recognized. Demu falls back. He says, "I can't contest that," and damn, you are right, my friend. What a timing there by Corvinus 1, managing to get that Red Palace online. Loses a lot of his army, but at the same time, manages to keep almost all of those villagers alive. I think he had 22 in there. It couldn't have been 22 because he's down to 15 right now and he's only lost 5. So it's definitely it's a decent amount. But now we've sort of got this middle ground here where Demu has got to make a decision. Okay, how are we going to attack this? And the most common way that you'll see this is a couple of bombards brought up, normally 1 or 2, normally 2. If you go into trebuchets, it's always difficult because the trebuchets have a lower DPS than the bombard, and it means that for a landmark like this can be repaired with wood. Okay, it's not repaired with stone. So if we think about a traditional keep, it's built with stone, it's repaired with stone. And that's difficult, or that's easy to take out with trebs because it's about attrition. Whereas for a Red Palace, which is repaired with wood, it's much easier to repair this. So If, in this case, Demu is opting to go into Trebs, I would be hesitant to do that because it means he's probably going to have to hit numbers like 4, 5 Trebs before he's actually able to really threaten this Red Palace and take it out. But 2 Trebs, I would expect that we just see Corvinus 1 pull about 6 Vils and just start repairing it and just keep it permanently repaired. And yeah, it's one of those things where Demu will be forced to contribute more and more of his population space to the goal of taking out the Red Palace versus, you know, versus investing it in, say, 2 bombards, which is half the pop. A little bit more expensive, though, but all right, well, we'll check in with Corvinus 1 and see how he's doing, because at the moment, the economies are pretty even, but the military difference is significant. Stone walls are coming up for Corvinus 1. He's looking to try and keep the base safe, which is to be expected. So, walling off down towards this southern position, we do see a bit of a randomly placed market here. I don't think that's got anything to do with the trade post. And the sacred sites, at least that was... Well, I have no idea. What was that sound for? It sounded like a sacred site had been captured or neutralized or something. Anyway, 2 Trebs out, 2 more on the way. Give me a second here. I gotta clear this throat. All right, we're back. Sorry. Normally I don't like casting when I've just woken up because of this problem where you've got to kind of clear your throat. But look, I decided today. I said, you know what? I'm in the mood. I just want to get in there. I want to get down there and just do some casting. So here we are. We're in the booth at the moment, enjoying some Age of Empires 4. Trebs continuing to fire off. He's got a nice little safe distance here. Keep in mind the Red Palace has got 10 tiles of range. So in the event that he does go for bombards in a situation like this, he'd need to bring up Vils to repair them at the back. It's always dangerous when you're fighting against a civ like Joan of Arc with their cannons. Can look to try and clap back against your own bombards with their cannons. Quadruple Trebs now, slowly working down the Red Palace. Now keep in mind, if the Red Palace falls, very typically the French fall. So Corvinus is going to be doing everything he can to try and keep this working. Nice little jostling back and forth here for position. Red Palace at about half health. Might need to pull more Vils. He's on 700 wood at the moment. Plenty of resources in the bank. Mango's moving around the side. Corvinus could look to try and take it down. Cannons have got plenty of damage on them, 55 apiece. And now beginning to move forward once again. Big armies. Corvinus 1 knows he needs to commit to taking out this back line. Joan of Arc's here. He's going to look for a big AoE Inspire right here as she comes through. There's the big heal. Beautiful value. And the Royal Cannons firing in on that back line. You can see that the Red Palace is burning. And now taking out the Trebs. Manages to keep the Red Palace alive. The hero of the day, Corvinus 1, surviving a little bit longer and looking to bring himself closer into the game. Look at the military difference now. Look at the military difference. He's made it even. Stevens, the power of Joan of Arc right there. 675 health on her. Not for long after all these strelts. He's got the message to focus her down. Fortunately, she lives again. And the numbers still look very, very good for Corvinus 1. Randy's coming through. Randy, it's been a while. How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Any top ropes around here? We'll have to wait and see. Typically, it's going to be the mangonels that are coming in off the top rope, not the Randys. Second Siege Workshop now put down. He's going into adjustable crossbars. Could have ourselves a little mango madness today. How do you guys feel about that? A little mango madness? I guess, look, to be fair, every game's been a bit of mango madness, with the exception of the Chinese and Juicy Legacy games that we cast, which are Nest of Bee madness. Nest of Bee... I don't know. I'm trying to think of a word that starts with N, similar to madness. The novelty of the knob. There. The novelty. Sorry. Sorry. I shouldn't. I'll just go with I shouldn't. Let's just go with that. All right, well, Treb's moving to the top side. This is the part I was a little bit concerned about. Remember when we talked about, like, the Red Palace and being aggressive? It was that Demu can pivot really easily. He can pivot away from here, and if you want to chase him, you're going to have to go all the way around. Now, granted, you could come back through and then look to reposition towards his top side, but it is awkward, man. It's not easy. So, I'm kind of curious how Corvinus 1 plays this map to his advantage in that regard. But we do now look to see him put pressure on the south, so it's kind of free real estate here because he's going to force Demu to come back into this game himself. He's saying, well, hold on, I'm just going to take out this keep. And to be honest, that's a smart move. I would just look to clear out this entire bottom side. And that's actually a really sick play because there is the big gold vein down here. He's also got the secondary gold vein down here. So if you can try and exert control here, I don't know if you'd go to the extent of putting down walls, but you could really do quite a bit of damage here. And we do have a keep on the bottom side. He's got to be careful not to commit too much, and he does the right thing. It's only Cav that's down here for the moment. Treb's now going to look to work down the Red Palace from a different angle. Keep's got 1,400 on it. He immediately drops all the vills on to repair that Red Palace. Keep in mind, there are diminishing returns on that Red Palace, or at least repairing it, so you want to try and repair slowly with as many or as few vills as you can. Mango gets taken out by the units on the back, the bombards, the cannons on the back. There we go. He gets the tee off once again. Plenty of Streltsy out. He's up to 42 now for Demu. Adjustable crossbars is already through for Corvinus 1. He takes out a huge swath of those Streltsy numbers down to 26. You're going to have to fight into the mangonels, and it's always, or rather, yeah, it's going to be difficult to do for these Streltsy. Still, this Red Palace is taking on water. We hear another keep put down for Demu. We're really starting to see that no man's land in the center building up with siege on either side. The age of siege is well upon us, ladies and gentlemen. I think the most instrumental thing that Corvinus 1 could do right here is force Demu off this gold. If he can come down here with Cav, I mean, it's going to be tough, right? It's not going to be easy. Maybe, see, you can't even really challenge this with a cannon. If you bring a cannon down here and start sieging this keep down, not only do you repair it with like 4 vills, but then you just send 5 or 6 vills to go and kill the cannon, and there's nothing that the cannon can do other than run away. You could bring Joan of Arc, but then it's kind of like you're neglecting the front. And I think that's part of the difficult thing about having this Red Palace is you want to keep this Red Palace alive. The moment this Red Palace goes down, Demu can just commit hard to an engage. So that's pretty much what's preventing him from committing to that massive engage. But we do start to see Cav moving down to the south. And the moment that Cav moves, you can see Demu looking to pick up and say, hey, get back here. I'm pushing at your front. You want to come back here now, please? Send a couple units back here, please. Don't make me come around here. He's going to spot out the keep. All the vills jump inside. He's got 17 vills down here. Looks like 2 of them are going to lose their lives. Unfortunately, they don't fit in. Maybe 1 of them. And now he's actually just going to siege down the keep. I don't mind him bringing down the cannons just to finish off the keep in this situation. Like, you just have 3 of them go and take it down, but looks like he's going to get caught on the wrong side of the wall. He's going to try and jam himself through. Demu manages to catch all of the Jones guards, Jones elite riders. He did spot that, but Joan manages to make her way through. So unlike the IRL story, unfortunately for Joan, she does make it through in this version of events. Mango numbers still building here, by the way. We're up to 6 mangonels for Demu. He's going to tee off towards that front side. Meanwhile, on the top side, 7 mangoes coming out for Corvinus 1. It's the mango madness, baby. We are seeing it. Look at the shots come through. First mango's going to get to... You got to focus the enemy mango or you're going to lose everything. Huge damage on that back line. He's just going to utilize the cannons instead. Cannons taking down the mangoes. Hand cannoneers for Corvinus 1. Get absolutely blasted, dude. Oh, it's crazy how much damage these mangoes do. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, man. I don't know what they were thinking. It just feels like it's just too much, right? Like, what do you get from adjustable crossbars? It's an extra attack, like an extra burst attack. So you go from 3 to 4. It's extra radius. I think you get an extra range on the range of the mango. I think it goes from 8.5 to 9, doesn't it? And then I think, I'm not sure on this, but I think you might also get additional damage. But anyway, it's one of those things. All right, well, gold has been idled out now. Demu's got nowhere else to really go. He's got 4K, 1.2K back in the base. He's got a 4K back here as well. He does have a lot of gold in the bank that he can play with. He can also do things like market trading. And to be fair, the trade post isn't in a terrible spot, though I don't know where you'd actually trade with it. Maybe up into this corner? Could be the best way to play it. Now, I think I might actually have the hiccups. I'm not kidding you. I've been like trying to mask it. I think I might have the hiccups. I don't know if you guys notice this. Maybe it's just a me thing, but when you were young, I feel like you got the hiccups like 3 times a day. Like, my boys are getting hiccups all the time. But as I've grown older, man, I get the hiccups like once every 2 years. Is this when I actually get the hiccups? We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the hiccups or if it's just maybe I drank that coffee a little bit the wrong way. Speaking of coffee, give me a second here. Maybe let's try and see how the coffee is. It's good. Oh, it's good. Damn, dude. She is so good at making that coffee. Whew. That's a 10. All right, well, the siege wars have well and truly begun at this point in the game. Demu lining up the base. You can see he's got that lovely line formation beginning. Oh, she fires off. She's just short of the one shot. You can see right there, she does how much? 150 damage. She finally gets it on the back line. Joan of Arc, she'll try for another one. There she goes. Down to 0 health, and the Mango does go down. A lot of units on this front. Corvinus 1 pushing through. Streltsy numbers are decent, though. 43 Streltsy. Whole bunch of spears going to continue coming through. Randy's looking to get into position. He fires off. I think he just managed to hit a single hand cannon here before going down. And it looks like these siege units have moved up a little bit too far. He's out of position. He's out of position. He's out of position. Corvinus 1 now. He's got no red palace to fall back to. A little bit big for his boots, unfortunately. And the hand cannoneer numbers, or rather the Streltsy numbers for Demu are insane, dude. 47 Streltsy. I got something that can fix it. Boom, boom. The Venga boys are back in town. Corvinus 1 thins the number a little bit, but it's not enough. At least not enough to slow down the pace of this push. A huge amount of units coming through for Demu. Look at this, max at 197 against Corvinus at 133. Slight Vil advantage for Corvinus, but it's not going to make much of a difference here. Red Palace is well and truly online, but with Joan of Arc falling in the south of the map, it leaves a lot to be desired for this defense. Corvinus 1 could be in trouble here. 35 minutes into the game. How does he possibly pull himself out of this hole? I think you got to rely on the Mango, right? You got to go the Mango. How else do you do it? What other ways could have he played that better? He definitely got too aggressive, right? Like, he got caught out of position. The numbers were good for both players, but I think he underestimated how many Streltsy Demu actually had. Like, that was a ridiculous amount of Streltsy. We see Mangoes in queue. Immediately goes for 4 Mangoes. He knows the threat. He knows the power of those Mangoes. He's also got... Oh, actually, I just realized we've all... Oh, my lord. I just realized, man. We've got these empowered by Joan of Arc. So they've got their consecrated company. So 25 cost reduction. This is actually really nice. 300, 150. Are these cheaper? These are cheaper than the Rus ones. They are too. Your Mangoes might be cheap, but mine are even cheaper. That's what he says. That's kind of wild. I didn't even think about that. I mean, you got those unique upgrades, right, that have come through. Yeah, Demu's picked them up, so you've got that sort of instant unpack, repack animation. The Corvinus 1's in trouble. There is no denying it at this point in the game. A lot of elite riders coming out as well for Jean. So we can see here, 135 food, 15 gold. So nice and cheap, kind of like a horseman. Just, dude, why are the horsemen so... Oh, it's because they're consecrated. But man, they're so cheap, dude. All right, Jones riders. They've actually got really good stats on them now that I look at it. Like, it's kind of crazy just how good their stats are. Oh. Oh. All right. Demu pushing on this south side. Manages to secure the gold. Keep's going to come down on it. Still got plenty of gold back in behind the scenes. 1.2k left over here. Now looking to take an engagement towards the main base of Corvinus 1. On the backside, the Mangoes look to tee off. Find decent connections. Joan of Arc runs through the gap with all of the riders. And now Corvinus 1 evens it up. All the siege has gone down. He says, what use is your siege if I've got no infantry? And all the Streltsy get cleaned out. Incredible turnaround there from Corvinus 1. You know, we were just talking about it. How was he going to get himself back into this game? That's how he's going to do it. The elite riders. Incredible. Honestly, I want to see a little bit of a comparison between the elite riders and the horsemen. I don't remember them having this good stats. But now on the side of Demu, look at the reaction. 28 spears coming out straight away. Hand cannoneers at the back. Not going to be easy to pick off all these spears mixed in with the horsemen. Actually, we can just compare these elite horsemen. Yeah, these ones are only doing 14 damage. Dude, how do these have so much damage? He's got 25 damage on them. This is insane. That's a ludicrous amount of damage. Like, that is crazy how much damage these do compared to the horsemen. These are doing 14. It's almost like half or double the amount of damage. What's the health pool like? 256 against 332. These are good units, man. These are crazy good units. No wonder he's making them like that. Gene's riders are actually crazy. A lot of ranged armor, but I think the horseman's got the ranged armor as well. Yeah, it's got 5 and 3 versus 7 and 3. So slight advantage there. I mean, the real difference is that the health pool and the damage. It's just like the raw stats, right? That's insanity. I guess you've also got like the French biology that's in play as well, like the Royal Bloodlines upgrade, which I've not clicked on a university. There we go. I was going to say, I know he's got one somewhere. All right. Interestingly, no chemistry yet through for Corvinus 1 either. Chemistry is an integral part of buffing up these cannons. Doesn't really hit the Mangoes that well. Doesn't do too much for the Mangoes. And now Horsemen. Horsemen on the way back through. I guess one thing to note is the Horsemen do get bonus damage against ranged units. Whereas the Jean's Elite Rider just kind of do well against everything. What they lack in that bonus damage they make up for in their just flat damage, which I think in every circumstance we can agree is just objectively better. There's no two ways about it. John's Riders now going to clean up this little raid back home. Thought we had a whole bunch of markets coming in. Not going to be the case. If we're going to put markets anywhere, we want to be putting them down in this bottom corner. But Demu's got a lot of passive gold. Keep in mind, Demu holds 2 sacred sites. He holds 4 relics with Tithe Barns. He's also got the High Trade House with 190 gold a minute, which is the equivalent of 2.5 relics. And then he's got all of the passive gold coming through from his hunting cabins. 38 gold, 31 gold. There's probably a few more hunting cabins around here somewhere. There we go. 14 gold, 1 gold. Look, big numbers here, folks. Big numbers. 21. What else have we got? Nothing else too crazy. At least not that we've spotted yet. Another keep coming up. Corvinus 1 going to try and take it out before it can come online. And Ortherville's going to start repairing it, but the keep is going to commit. Mango shots towards the front. You can see from Demu's side, look how many Mangoes he's got in the pocket. 7 Mangonels. He doesn't care what he's focusing down. He's indiscriminate in his response. He just says, hey, I don't care. I'm taking them out. If they're units, if they're green, they're mean. And they're going down, and they remain to be seen on this back line. They get taken out before he can even hit this back line. Instead, he's got to look for the response from the cannons instead. You can see the repairs coming through. He's going to have to sink these shots up. Hand Cannoneers falling back. Still unable. There we go. Mango's able to take it out. Now Corvinus 1 on the defense has got the Mangoes, but too many Horsemen and Spears. I don't know where all those Jean's Riders went. I think they got absolutely melted by the Mangoes. The 7 Mangonels all in this one area just destroyed a huge amount of Jean's Riders. I think that had to be it. Meanwhile now, Corvinus 1 falls back away from this front line. Needs to regain his composure. Vil count still pretty even. He's got some good resources in the bank here. Jones Riders hand cannon there, a nice combo, honestly. I like that combo a lot. What does it even lose to? I guess Mangonels. Mangonels and Mangonels. It's a tale as old as Season 9. Oh yes, the devs. What did they do? Well, I mean, if there's one thing we can be certain of, it's that in the next patch, Mangonels will not be as Mangonelli as what they currently are. All right, Corvinus 1 going to come through here. Demo spots it out. Keep in mind, he does have all the markets ready to go. Do we actually have trade? I don't know if we've got trade yet. We've got bombards rolling out off the lot, but no trade as of yet. He does spot it out. Look at this. Corvinus 1, before the first trade is even out, he spots what his enemy is up to. We know you're looking to set up trade here, Demo. Corvinus 1 takes it out. Hits the gold vein once again. Now, keep in mind, there's still 1,300 here. This one back here has started to work its way down. Big army from Demo. Huge army. Look at the number of Mangoes. He's got 8 Mangoes back here. How do you even approach this? Mangoes fire off on the cav. Not a whole lot of damage done, but he's got spears in here. He's going to need to survive a long time against this. He's got bonus damage against the Mangoes, so he does a good job splitting. Takes out 2 of them so far. Mangoes get shots off on the back line, though. Red Palace is going down. He's going to commit to a fight underneath it. Corvinus 1 holding on for dear life as the cav makes its way back. Joan of Arc joins the crew. It's been a little bit, maybe he went a little bit too early. More Mangoes have rolled out. Look at Debu. He's going ham with the Mangonels right now. Red Palace falls, and as they say, when the Red Palace falls, Joan of Arc falls. Or at least the French fall. That's normally the way it goes. He's trying his best to repair it back, bring it back online. More Streltsy rallying in. The number of mangonels has gone down significantly. He's got 0 mangoes in the back now. Manages to take them all out, but now the number of units that Demu's got as he begins to push forward here is starting to look a little bit scary. Hand Cannoneer is going to be taken out by the horsemen. More units rolling up, beginning to focus down the Red Palace. That bombard on the backside. Where are those mangoes? They're nowhere to be seen. At the back of the base, most likely. You can see Demu 181 population right now. And Corvinus 1, despite having a similar economy, is just finding himself always caught out of position ever so slightly. Demu able to find advantages. He noticed that his enemy was down here and he'd rallied to take out all the markets. And as a result, he pushed on the front and was able to take a fight where his enemy was down about 20 cav. And that made all the difference because the Mangoes managed to stay alive long enough to get shots off on the back. And that's good game. Corvinus 1 tapping out and Demu successful in his victory on Lipany today. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this casted game. What are we up to? Number 12 for 2025? Either way, make sure you go check out these two players. I'll leave links in the description to where you can watch them live over on Twitch. And of course, we'll catch you in the next one.